Hi everyone, Jaffe here, and welcome to 2 Minute Puzzles. This is a new thing we're trying out, might become a series if all goes well. So the idea is we are looking at puzzles that take about 2 minutes to solve. Now, if you've been following Around the World in Many Days, which is the ongoing series, um, you may have noticed that some of those puzzles require some amount of time to solve, upwards of 30 minutes, say. And not everyone has that kind of time. And I thought, well, everyone has 2 minutes, right? So we are looking at something that you can solve in 2 minutes. Now, how this goes is we pick a puzzle type, and today it's Heyawake, which is a new puzzle type for us. Hasn't been done in the Around the World in Many Days series, and it will be uh, at about episode 52, but hasn't been done yet. So we're picking a puzzle type. I'll explain the rules, then I'll pick two puzzles, solve them myself, so that trying to pick something that takes me about 2 minutes, and then afterwards I'll explain them step by step. Now, this is obviously for the people who don't know what hierarchy is, want to learn how to solve it. So there's going to be the explanation of the rules and then a step-by-step explanation of how to do it. But also another aspect of this is if you're familiar with hierarchy, if you're good at solving puzzles, there will be a link in the description to both of the puzzles that I'm solving here. So you can, before watching me solve it, you can try them yourself, see what time you get. Maybe you beat me, maybe you don't. And in some puzzle types, that's going to be easier than in others. Heyawake, I've done a fair bit. But that said, I've never done any like competitive solving of any sort. So if you have, you probably should beat me. So that's what we will be doing. Now, let's look at Heyawake. So this is a Japanese grid puzzle by Nicoli, which many of these are, by the way, that we've had in the other series as well. So let's see how. And these are obviously not by me, that which would defeat the purpose. So these are from an online puzzle site, puzzlehierarchy.com, and we might do some other types from other sites as well. So, but this is what we're using for Heyawake. So the rules of Heyawake. So there are four rules. We're shading a grid with these rectangular rooms which have numbers, some of which have numbers. And so we are marking some cells black and some white. So the rules are black cells can't be next to each other. So this is illegal. And this site even shows you if something is illegal, it shows it either as red or as pink immediately. So you can't put two black cells next to each other. They can be diagonally. They can share this point here, but they can't share an edge. So that's the first rule. The second rule is all the white cells have to be connected. So we can never make something like, let's say this. And this would be illegal because now there are white cells in here that can never touch the other white cells. So white cells have to be orthogonally adjacent. So even though these could get out like from the corner, that's not enough. They have to be able to escape across these edges. So that's rule number two. Rule number three is there are these numbers. So these numbers indicate how many shaded cells are in which region. So this would be all white. It's 0 shaded cells. This would have 3 shaded cells, and this would have 2, for example. And again, this shows you if you try to shade 4, it shows you that it's shows the number as red, indicating you've made an error. But hopefully will not get red when we're solving these. Okay, so that's rule number 3, and there's rule number 4, which is very important, which is that you cannot white cells cannot stretch over 3 regions in a straight line. Straight line meaning horizontal or vertical. So this would be illegal. We're stretching into this box here, this region, and this region. So we can never cross 2 of these region borders in a straight line. So one is fine, we can cross over this, but we cannot cross over another one. So this shows us as pink immediately. So yeah, and that, so this is illegal, and horizontally as well, this would be illegal. crossing over this and this. So those are the rules of Heyawake. Now I'm going to pick a puzzle, solve it live. I won't be able to do much explaining while I do it, but I'll explain the sort of step by step after solving them sort of live, because I wanna see that the time is about right. So we're aiming at about 2 minutes. So let's say 1.5, between 1.5 and 2.5. So let's. So we're not solving this one. Obviously, we've been looking at this for way too long. So we are clicking new puzzle and let's go. No zeros. That's not a good sign. Let's see. One of these has to be black, so that's white. Okay, so that's at least a start. What do we know about? Oh, there's a 2, so that's immediately fillable. That must be black. That's white. That's black. And the 1's done. It's going reasonably well. The 1's already filled, so we can fill those. And that must be black. That must be black. That's white. Only one way to fill the 1. We need 1 more for this 2. What about this cell? We don't know anything about that cell. Oh, here we are. So must avoid this. So that's black, and that's the 2 done. Now these go all the way, so we can't block those. One of these, so this must be white. This we don't know about. I think it's going to be black. No, I'm not sure. Here we are. So this is the one because there are these. So that's black and that's black, and that is the puzzle done. And I didn't put the timer on the screen, but 118. So that's definitely going to count, even though we didn't mark this as white. And by the way, we don't need to mark whites here. We only need to mark the shaded cells. So whites are just going to be marking that something cannot be shaded. So we could solve this without using whites at all, but obviously it's much easier using the whites there. So now I have to be a little careful because there is I'm going to just copy this so that we know which puzzle we are dealing with, and leave this open. I think, yeah, because we're going to have to look at this once we go to the step by step. But I'll open another puzzle in a new window, and we'll start with that now. There we go. So now we have zeros. That's good. Always good to have zeros. Nothing next to each other. Those 2 here, 1 here, 1 here. Where's the 3rd? 1 here, 1 here. Doesn't really, the 1. Oh, obviously. So that must be black. That must be black. Where's the 3rd of this 3rd? 3. Oh, that's white. Here we are. 1 of these. Still don't know enough. These are black. That's 1 for this 2. Oh, here we are. That's black. Keep scrolling. I don't know why. 1 of these. So this must be white. That's black. That's the 1 done. That's black. Do we know which one of these? I don't know. Are we stuck now? Let's see. So 1 of these. So if these are both empty, that's filled. That's filled. These aren't. That's fine. That works. 1 of these. 1 of these. It's not enough. Can these both be? No, this can't both be white. So 1 of these means 1 is white, and then 1 of these is okay. So these must be white. All right. And okay, so this is black. So now we can't do this. So it's the other way around. And maybe it would be faster not to mark the whites. Let's see. 1 of these. Oh, the 2 was done. So that's white, that's black, and that's black. Okay, so we're done. And we are at 148. So that works for us. So those were our puzzles, and I'm going to copy the number of the puzzle just so I remember, or not remember, so that I can find them later to make the links. So let's look at the first one. And I did this wrong once. I think I clicked start over here, which worked. And then I went to the other tab and I clicked start over and it didn't work because it started this puzzle over. So I'm just going to erase this manually, I think, to avoid, because since I have two tabs open, it might forget one of them and I would have to start over. I don't want to do that. So just erase this manually. And let's look at this one. So this was the first one. How do we start with this one? And here we didn't have any zeros, which are great places to start. So what's the best place here to start? And the best place, if you don't have any zeros, obviously the zeros are, if you have, if this was a zero, you can just fill that in as white because zeros cannot have any blacks in them. But apart from zeros, the best places to start are very short, short rooms compared to the how many shaded cells you need. So for example, this 2 is the best place to start here because there's only one way to shade two cells of this 2. So it has to be this and this. If you shade this, that's white, and that's already broken. So can't shade this, has to be this and this. And now every time we shade a cell in the grid, we can mark everything next to it white because you can't put a black next to another black. So from this 2 box, we get this shape already. And then it's just a question of using the cells that we get, especially the white cells that we get. So anytime a white cell, let's say we get this, we get that this is white. So this would immediately mark, allow us to mark this as black, because anytime we get, well, let's go through that once we get there. So anytime we get this whites crossing a border, they can't cross another border, so you have to block them on both sides. But we don't have that situation here yet. So this is not crossing any borders, this white cell, and neither are the others. So where do we go from this one? And I think I didn't even start with this one. This would be the obvious place to start, but I don't think it continues from here. Like none of these white cells allow us to put anything else in the grid. So where I started, I think, was this cell here. Now, if knowing that this is a 2. Now, since we can't put 2 black cells together, a 2 here in a size 4 box means that one of these has to be one of the shaded cells and the one of these, but we can't make both of these here. So it has to be exactly one of these and exactly one of these. And in a corner, if you have a sort of, if you know that one of these is going to be black in a corner, that means that this cell can never be black because this cell would make this white, and now this would have to be white to get the white cells connected because this is illegal. Can't block in this white cell. So anytime you have a situation where one of these has to be black in a corner, or these, or these, or these, or these, if one of these has to be black, then this other side of the corner must be white. And this white allows us now to put a black cell here because the one only has one cell available. And now since we knew that one of these 2 was going to be black, it has to be this one now, can't be this anymore. And now these white cells have to get out, only one way to go, and these only have one way to go. And now we get to the situation I wanted to mention earlier. So here we are crossing this border with the white cells, and we can't cross another border in the same straight line. So that means this must be black, and this is going to be sort of a thing that continues. And once we get more white cells, we get more of these situations when we have to block this with black in order to avoid this situation. So this is black, again, surrounded with whites as always. Did we get anything from that? Yeah, we did, because now this crosses over this border. So if we make this white, we're crossing over another border. Can't do that, so that's black. The white cell here has to get out, so this must be white. And now again, crossing over this border, can't cross over another, so this must be black. And that's the first black for this box of two black cells. Don't know where the other goes yet, and this must be white as well. But since this is white, again we are crossing over this border here, and we can't cross over this other border, and that is we can mark this as white because we filled the one box already. That's the only shaded cell that we're going to have there. Now these white cells must escape somewhere, but they have two possibilities, so we can't use either of them yet. If ever we get a black cell here, we know that this must be white in order to avoid cutting these off from the other whites, but we don't know that yet. Do we have any other cases where we are crossing a border? Here we're crossing a border, meaning that we can't cross this one, which means that one of these must be white. One of these must be black, sorry. So that does give us something, but doesn't really allow us to continue. So what it gives us is this can never be black, because if this is black, this must get out, so that's white, but this would also be white, and now we're crossing over two borders here. So this we can mark as white. So like this would the other way to see it is one of these is going to be black. If it's this, that's white, and if it's this, that's white. So this is going to be white either way, but it doesn't really go further than that. It doesn't allow us to use it in any way. So that's not what we should be looking at, I think. Here we are. So here we had, and we had that a while, so just didn't realize it while explaining. So here we have a black cell in a region of 1, so these are all white then. And now can't cross over these two borders here. Only way to stop that is to make this black. This is then white, and again crossing over a border. Here's another, can't cross it, so that's black. Surround it with whites. The white must escape here, and once it does, now this region of size 1 only has one cell left for the shaded cell, so that must be this one, surrounded with whites again. Now we have this region of white cells that is very restricted. It's blocked on almost all sides by blacks, and when that is the case, we have to start thinking about how to get them out. And here it's pretty simple. There's only one way for these whites to go to connect to the others. So this must be white. Can't make this black because that would immediately close these off. So that's white. So that's all of this, basically this 3/4 of the grid already done. So let's look at this then. Here we are crossing a border again, can't cross over another. So that's black, surround with whites, and the same thing happens here. So border, can't cross over another, so that's black. And now since we mark this black, that's two blacks in this box of 2, in this region with 2 shaded cells. So these rest are white. And then the same logic just continues. So here we are crossing a border, can't cross this one, so that's black, surround with whites. And now this box of 1 already has this black cell, so we can mark these as white. Now, what about here? So we don't know about these yet. We don't know about these. These could both still be white, I think. Oh, it's the 2 here, right? So we have, and this has been available for ages as well. So we have one black cell in this region with the 2. So we need another one, and there's only one cell left. So that's black, surround with whites. Now this cannot be black. And here you have to zoom out a little bit and look at where these all white cells are going to be connected to. So we have this entire wall, and when you do like larger grids, it might be very non-obvious that this wall is reaching the grid border here, meaning that if we put a black here, all of these whites are going to be disconnected from these bottom ones. So I can just show you. If I put a black here, all of these cells which are now pink can never reach these white cells. So in other words, this must be white. Obviously, this 8 by 8 it's still pretty visible, pretty clearly visible. But if you try doing a larger grid, sometimes you have to just zoom out just to see what's going on, which is fun. So that gave us this white cell, and this white cell now allows us to mark this as black because we can't. We're already crossing this border. Can't cross this one. Only one way to stop it is to put the black here and surround with whites again. And now we have one cell left. And again, this wall of blacks here goes all the way to the edge of the grid, meaning if we put a black cell here, again, we are cutting off all these white cells from the ones at the other side. So this must be white, and that is how to solve this puzzle. Pretty hard to judge like how slowly to explain this, and I do like please do comment if it's too slow, if it's too fast, because especially if you when you've just done the exact same logic, it's very tempting to just go very fast, and also it's possible to overcompensate for the same reason. So that's the explanation for the first one. Let's look at the second one, and again I'll just erase this by hand because I've been burned once by I just clicked the what's it called, the erase button, and it erased it but replaced it with another grid. So I'm not going to do that. So this is the second one now that we did, and the getting started here is a bit simpler, I think, because we have a lot of these zeros. And as I said, when we have zeros, we can just mark them as white because they can never have a shaded cell in them. In addition to the zeros, we have this one, which obviously must be, since it's a size 1, it has to be black, and we can surround it with ones again. And this allows us to now get going with this straight line thinking. So, oops, what did I do there? Sorry about that. So this straight line here, for example, we can't mark all of these white. There's only one cell available for the black one. So if we make this white, that breaks. So this must be black, surround with whites again. This white has to get out now, so it has to go there. And once it does, now there's a straight line here. Crosses over this border, can't cross over this one. So this must be black to avoid this situation, and surround with whites. Now we have this straight line here, which must be blocked on both sides because we're crossing over this border. Can't cross over this or this. This would be illegal and this would be illegal. So we're marking two black cells here, so again surrounded with whites. Now we have one black cell for this region of 2. Don't know where the other goes yet. But here we have a straight line that we can use. So this crosses over this border. So first of all, it can't go there. So this would be illegal. We're crossing out into these 3 regions. So that's black. In addition, this is also black because we're still crossing over this. Can't cross over this other border. So this is black as well. And again, surround with whites. Now, I don't think we have any straight line thinking left here. And so we have one black cell left for this region, but we don't know where it goes yet. Where did we go from here? Okay, so I don't remember the exact because there are many sort of orders to do this, and you might notice other things when doing it a second time. But I think the thing to notice here, which might not be as obvious as the ones that we've gone through so far, one of these must be white. One of these must be black, I should say, because obviously 2 whites here would make this illegal. We have to prevent it crossing this and this. And since one of them has to be black, that's the second black for this entire box here, this entire region. And that's one, and the second is here. So we can mark these as white because if we let's say we put a white, black here, we're still going to need a black there to avoid this straight line, and that's a third black. So that won't work. So one is going to be here, the other is here, so these must be white. That allows us to see this horizontal line here. We're crossing over a border, can't cross over another, so that's black, and that fills this box of 1. So we've shaded the one cell that we needed to shade. The rest are white. And now there's a straight line here horizontally, crossing over this, can't cross over this, so this must be black, and surround with whites again. Now, okay, and this actually, these 3, maybe even harder to see. These 3 can't have a shaded cell on either of these 2 cells. And why is that? Well, first to note is this region here. These can't both be white. And the reason they can't both be white is this would be black and this would be black to avoid these 2 straight lines. This would be illegal and this would be illegal. So these are not both white, but they're also not both black. So if one of them is white, whichever it is, let's say it's this one, this is going to be black, and because like to avoid this situation. And if this is white, this is going to be black. So in other words, one cell is going to be shaded here, and one cell is going to be shaded here. And there's 2 ways to do it. You can do it this way or this way. Those are the only 2 ways you can put 2 shaded cells in a 2x2. But what I'm getting at, one of these is going to be shaded, which means in this box of 3, we have 2 shaded cells, and the third one is going to be here. So there's not going to be a fourth one in these cells. So these can be marked as white. Hopefully that's clear. So there's going to be at maximum 1 black here, and wherever it is, we must mark. We're going to get another black on the third row there, or third from the bottom, I should say. So it's either going to be like this or like this. But either way, one of these is going to be shaded, which means these are unshaded, to allow for only 3 shaded cells in this region. And now, once we mark these as unshaded, this line would break if this is white. So this must be black, filling this entire box of 1, since we already have one shaded cell. And now marking this white allows us to look at this line here, this horizontal line. So crossing over this, can't cross over this, so this is black, surround with whites. And now for this box of 2x2, we have 2 options. We can mark it like this, which is fine, or this, which is not fine because we are cutting off all these whites from ever reaching the others. So this is illegal. We must do it this way and surround the black cells with whites again. So that was maybe harder to spot than in the previous ones. In the previous one, this two already has 2 shaded cells, so this must be white. And now again, here we have a horizontal line crossing over one, can't cross over the other, so that's black. Surround with whites, and we're almost done. Here again, straight line, can't make this white, we'd be crossing over into 4 different regions here, so that's black. And this must be black as well, because we are crossing over this, can't cross over another one, so that's black. And that's both of those puzzles done. So this was the first episode of 2-minute puzzles. Let me know what you think, and whether especially the explanation at the end, like what pace would be best, because obviously it's hard to judge. And yeah, next time we'll probably try another puzzle type, which I haven't decided yet, but I will see you then. And for this one, thanks for watching.